What's going on, guys? Here I am coming to you from Tarrytown, New York. Just starting out my day. Not too bad. It's beautiful out here in New York right now. It's like 70 degrees. I got my windows open, got the shades on, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's beautiful out here. Decided to get my day going. I crossed the bridge. I spent my own damn money on that because I thought I chased a surge. I made a big mistake. Rule number uno: do not chase surges, because as soon as I got here, the surge disappeared, and that's just how it is, you know. But that's okay. So you know, you live, you learn. That's all that is. So I'm gonna talk to you guys today a little bit about. So I had somebody on one of my posts ask me about why I don't do Lyft. And funny he brought that up, because I just started doing Lyft maybe 2 weeks ago. Doing Lyft over in the New Jersey market. Noticed that I had a great offer, $2,900 guaranteed for 160 rides. Break it down, that's about $18 a ride. Right now I'm at 100 rides, so I'm down the stretch. I'm a little bit past halfway, and I'll give you the report. So the report is, I'm going to give you guys a little contrast between Uber and Lyft. All right. So Lyft has upfront fares where I'm from. So now in New Jersey, it shows you where you're going, where you're picking up, how much you're making per ride. Now there's some benefits to that. One benefit to that is that you get to keep yourself out of bad areas. Jersey has a lot of them, so it's nice to know that you can kind of stay away from the Newarks and the Pattersons of the world and stay in a little bit of nicer areas where you feel safe driving, and that's good. So it does that. It gives you a little bit, because they do that, it gives you a little bit better security. A lot of the passengers are able to upload photos of themselves, and a lot of them do, so you get to see who you're picking up. It's just a little bit more clear cut of what you're doing on the ride, which is big. I mean, in my opinion, that's big. Uber, I mean, you have no idea who you're picking up. You have no idea where you're dropping off. You know, so that's a big problem with Uber. But Lyft doesn't pay as well. Lyft pays pretty shitty, to be honest with you. It does not pay very well. I can see why they're losing passengers and drivers left and right. They're probably losing passengers because they can't get drivers to drive for them, because it just doesn't pay. They do have some nice bonuses. They've been, you know, throwing out some streaks. The guarantee that they offered me as a new driver is pretty nice. So it has that benefit. So as far as safety is concerned, as far as knowing what you're doing, as far as the bonuses, it's pretty good on Lyft. I'll give it that. But if there's no bonuses going on and there's no promotions, I'm only going to use Lyft to get me to where I want to be, because I can see where I'm going. That's the only reason I'll end up using Lyft. I get to a location and I'm like, hey, you know, I want to know where I'm going, so then I'll do Lyft. Just I'll put up the app, it'll get me in the direction I'm going, and then I'll continue on with Uber. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons of Uber. Oh yeah, also for Lyft, I don't want to, there's one more thing about Lyft. Lyft passengers, most of them are using Lyft to save a buck. Lyft is a cheaper option than Uber, not all the time, but most of the time. So that's why a lot of these people use Lyft. Lyft is also used a lot more in metropolitan areas than it is used in suburbs. So the more densely populated a city, the more likelihood you'll be able to grab some Lyft rides. Up by me, not many people use Lyft. It's really a niche, as far as I've noticed, with the more densely populated areas. So there's that, and Lyft passengers are just my first day driving Lyft, it's like 7 in the morning. I picked up one guy high as a kite, and I picked up another lady right after that, drunk as a skunk. And it's right in the morning. And look, I'm not your judge and jury. I'm living in your world. I'm just driving in your world. I really can care less. I just found it comical. You know, I was just observing. I was just like, oh, that's funny, man. Like, I've never seen that with an Uber passenger. So it's a little bit of a different crowd on Lyft. Nice people, but they do not tip. They really don't. They're just not big tippers. And for what's that worth, you know? So again, each one has its own advantages. So now let's talk about Uber. Uber pays better. The surges on Uber are way superior to Lyft. Lyft, the largest surge I've ever seen on Lyft was like $5. The largest I've ever seen on Lyft, I think, was $7.50. You know, so you got to take that for what it is. It's really not that good, as far as I'm concerned. So there's that, and Uber has much better passengers, I think. You know, I get tipped a lot more with Uber rides. I think I did my percentages the other day. I have like a 38% tip on Uber. I didn't even bother with Lyft, because I know Lyft, I probably got like a 3% tip rate on Lyft. I mean, they just do not tip. You know, I have 100 rides I may have gotten 10 tips, maybe. You know, it's just not, you know, it's just a different type of passenger. So, which is fine. I mean, listen, I'm not really here to judge you. You know, everybody has their own shit, and you know, we're in a tough time where inflation's high, so I kind of get where people are with this. So the downside with Uber, you have no clue where the hell you're going. You get stuck in very bad areas. Your passengers, you have no clue who you're looking for. So that's the downside of Uber, you know. And for a guy like myself, I think being safe on the road is very important. You know, you hear these horror stories. You heard this poor guy, this poor vet that was driving and, you know, got into a confrontation with the guys in the back, and they brought him into a 7-Eleven and shot him. You know, and for what? I mean, this is the type of stuff that I try and stay clear of. I mean, people are like, oh, you know, you don't do rides and like bad. No, hell no. What do you think I want? You think I want to go into a bad neighborhood late night and pick up passengers? No, thank you. You know, so, you know, I feel bad for the good ones in those neighborhoods. There's probably a way more of them than there are bad ones, but the few bad apples, you know, it spoils it for everybody else. But, you know, I'm sure they still have their own drivers, you know, but that's the differences I've noticed. Promotions aren't really that great, although once I moved to the New York suburb market, they got a little bit better. They got just a tiny bit better with their promotions. So I started getting quests, I started getting streaks, you know, with Uber. So each app is its own tool. Use it for what you will. You know, I'm going to use Lyft as a way of getting myself in a direction I want to go. It just can't compete with Uber's pay. It just, at least right now. I mean, Uber, not that Uber's all that great either. Uber's dog shit as well. And Uber plays a lot of games with their app. I think they got it fine-tuned to get drivers where they want to get them. And I also think they got it fine-tuned to pay them as little as possible. Any way to squeeze an extra, like I said, they're nickel and diming us with surges. I got a surge for $3.27, a surge for $1.61. You know, that's nickel and diming shit. You know, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's a whole nother story. And the fact that they don't tell you this stuff. Oh, yeah, my surge map just happened to disappear for the last week. The only reason I think I'm seeing surges now because I called their asses up and was like, what's going on with my surge map? And then all of a sudden it's magically repaired. Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. But that's, like I said, I think at least when Lyft screws you, they screw you right to your face. Uber, on the other hand, you know, they come straight from behind, if so to speak. You don't even see them coming. They pick and pick and pick until you figure them out, and then they stop doing it. So, and the problem is I think there's a lot of immigrant Uber drivers who are not savvy to this stuff. So I think they take advantage of those drivers, probably more than these people know. And I feel for these people, man, because it's BS. They shouldn't have to deal with that. They're doing a service. They should be compensated properly. We're out here in the trenches. We're out here late night. We're out here with the drunks. We're out here with, destroying our cars and burning our fuel. And, my Easy Pass is on fire, by the end of the shift because of the amount of tolls I've gone through. So, the least Uber could do is do the right thing. But they're not about us, man. They're about the bottom line. We all know it. You've heard it. If you haven't heard it, you're hearing it here. So just take these companies for what they're worth. Get what you can get out of them. Push back when you see that they're doing something screwed up. Just don't sit there. Look at your fares. Make sure you see what's going on. Because if you don't, they're just gonna keep on taking advantage of you. So I hope you guys got a little bit of something out of this. A little bit of pros, a little bit of cons of both Uber and Lyft in my market. Take what you will from it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy. I hope some of you guys are enjoying this beautiful Saturday, going out with the wife, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, whatever the case may be, and enjoying yourselves tonight with the kids, whatever. I hope you guys have a great weekend, all right? You take care. We'll speak soon.